From farms that literally reach for the sky to foods designed in a lab, there's this quiet revolution happening right on our plates. Science is fundamentally rewriting the story of what we eat, how we grow it, and even what it can do for us. Just take a look at this. I mean, really, look. That is not a Photoshop trick. It's a real tomato, and it was engineered to have that deep, rich purple color. And the story of how it got that way? Well, it's at the very heart of what we're talking about today. It represents a radical new question that scientists are asking. What if, instead of just growing what nature happens to give us, we could actually design our food? Make it more nutritious, more resilient against disease, and way more sustainable. That's the huge question scientists are posing. And let me tell you, the answers they're finding are changing everything. But, to really get why all this innovation is so critical, we first need to wrap our heads around the massive challenge we're all facing. It's a challenge that's going to define the future of food for every single person on this planet. So here's the bottom line. Our global population is growing like crazy, but the land and the water we need for farming, that's not growing. It's finite. We simply have to find smarter, more efficient ways to feed everyone. And this isn't some distant, far-off problem. It's the challenge of our generation, right here, right now. Okay, so how do you solve a problem of space? Well, one of the most exciting solutions is to stop thinking about farming going sideways, across these vast fields, and instead to start thinking vertically. And this picture just illustrates that shift perfectly. On the left, you've got farming as we've known it for centuries. Soil, tractors, open land. And on the right, that's the future. Gleaming indoor farms where crops are stacked in layers, spiraling up towards these precisely controlled lights. The science that makes these vertical farms tick is called hydroponics. And basically, you can forget about soil. In these systems, plants get everything they need delivered right to their roots through this nutrient-rich water solution. It means we can build farms literally anywhere, in the middle of a bustling city, a harsh desert, or heck, maybe even one day in space. And the efficiency? It is absolutely staggering. Hydroponic systems can use up to 90% less water than traditional field farming. I mean, think about that. In a world facing more and more water shortages, that single number is a total game changer. But it's not just where we farm that's changing, it's also how we do it. The farmhands of the future, they might not be human at all. Say hello to your new farmer. This little autonomous robot's job is to pick the perfect strawberry every single time. It uses artificial intelligence to see, analyze, and act with a precision that's, well, it's almost superhuman. Now, the AI behind this isn't magic. It's actually a constant learning process. So first, the robot's camera grabs an image. Then, its AI instantly analyzes all the key features, the color, the shape, the size, to figure out if that strawberry is perfectly ripe. And finally, it makes a split-second decision, pick it or leave it to ripen a little more. And it just keeps learning and getting better with every single berry it sees. So what's the result of all this? Staggering productivity. A single one of these robots can harvest up to 794 pounds, that's 360 kilograms of strawberries in one day, working around the clock with a gentle touch that doesn't bruise the fruit. Now just imagine a whole fleet of them, making sure our produce is picked at its absolute peak. But technology isn't just about futuristic robots. Some of the biggest innovations are actually happening at a much smaller scale, completely transforming our understanding of the most fundamental element of all, the very ground beneath our feet. It really all comes down to chemistry. This is the pH scale. It measures how acidic or alkaline something is, and for plants, the pH of the soil is, well, it's everything. If it's too far in either direction, they just can't absorb the nutrients they need to grow, no matter how much fertilizer you throw at them. And here is a beautiful, living example of that chemistry in action. Hydrangea flowers are basically natural pH indicators. In acidic soil, they bloom blue, but in more alkaline soil, they turn pink. It's just this vivid reminder that what happens in the soil directly impacts the life that grows from it. And by understanding that, we can optimize growth in ways we never could before. Okay, so far we've talked about changing where and how we grow food. But what about changing the food itself? This is where science gets really personal. Believe it or not, humans have been hacking our food for at least 7,500 years. This right here is a cheese cellar, and making cheese, that's a classic form of biotechnology.
We use these tiny living organisms, microbes, to transform milk into something totally new, delicious, and longer lasting, all through a process called fermentation.
That ancient partnership was just the beginning. Today, we've evolved from working with whole organisms to working with the fundamental building blocks of life itself, our DNA. And this brings us to genetically modified, or GM food. It's an incredibly precise technology. Scientists can go in and make very specific changes to an organism's DNA, its genetic blueprint, to give it new, desirable traits. So how does that even work? Well, think of it as a pretty simple flow. A plant's DNA has these sections called genes. They're like individual recipes in a giant cookbook. Each gene tells the cells to make a specific protein. And it's those proteins that build the plant's final characteristics, its color, its size, or maybe its resistance to disease. By carefully editing the recipe, you change the final dish. So what can this do in the real world? This is the rainbow papaya. Back in the 1990s, the entire Hawaiian papaya industry was nearly wiped out by a devastating virus. So scientists introduced a single gene that made the papaya resistant to it, saving the entire crop and the livelihoods of countless farmers. It's just a powerful example of GM tech solving a real-world crisis.
Which brings us right back to our purple tomato, doesn't it? A tomato designed to have more nutrients. The papaya was designed to survive a disease. From hydroponic farms in skyscrapers to robotic harvesters and genetically tailored crops, science is giving us more control over our food than ever before. So the ultimate question isn't just what can we grow anymore. It's, as science rewrites the entire menu, what will we choose to eat?